Hello and welcome to episode 70 of Dorki's Entropia Universe report. This is the weekly video series where I go over my avatar progress and investment returns within Entropia Universe. Episode 70 covers the week from Monday 21st to Monday 28th of September 2020. Life played a cruel joke on me and gave me a leaky pipe this Friday. Luckily, I am not talking about my personal pipe, but rather an actual water pipe. From what the plumber told me, it seems like they used glue to make the junctions of several pipes watertight back when they built this place, and that glue went the way of the dodo. By the way, the cruel joke part of this whole experience is the unnecessary stress, unexpected out-of-pocket expenses that will no doubt materialize when they actually come to repair the stuff, and of course, the inability to take a dump or take a leak for however long it will take them to repair the faulty pipe. Anyway, enough about random life poop. Let's get into the Entropia Universe stuff proper. I did a whole lot of hunting, mining and crafting this week, although most of the footage in today's video will be from hunting, I think. I will put in a mining HoF or two though. I did most of my hunting with Geotrack H41 Mina that I bought this week for 1.4k pad. It was late at night for me and I was that tired. So naturally it occurred to me that buying this gun would be a great idea. I bought that lovely Mina, tucked it under my undies, and flew to town, to Rocktropia with it before logging off for the night. Then I kept asking myself that age-old question of what the fuck all morning the next day. But hey, I have the gun now and it is a decent little pea shooter, even if the efficiency is a bit on the lower side. First few hunts went well, and so did mining and crafting for the most part. And then I had the bright idea to stuff my shiny new Mina full of damage enhancers and go slaughter teladons on Arcadia. And how did that go? Well, I am sure none of you need more than one guess to get it right. Up to that point I was around break even, perhaps even at a small profit. After the Teladon fiasco, few hundred pad bought a one-way ticket to the famed land of Pooplandia. At least now you have a shining example of what not to do. On the other hand though, I gained a decent amount of skills this week. Most of those skills were crafting skills, as I crafted myself some level 2 light amps, and I also clicked some weapons and tools and vehicle parts. Most of those crafts went fine enough, but I got my backdoor resized by a chair frame. That blueprint is just pure evil. I did get couple blueprints that are supposed to be boosted from that craft, but I strongly suspect Mindark mislabeled those. The blueprints I am talking about are the Warp Drive 1 blueprint and Gunrear blueprint. Neither of them seems to have much of a markup to speak of, and clicking them gives non-boosted returns. You can usually identify the truly good boosted blueprints that are worth clicking by their rather absurdly high markup. Anyway, while most of my skill gains came from crafting, I also increased my mining and combat skills a bit too. H41 Mina seems to be a fairly good gun for skilling. I just hope it will not turn out to be really bad for returns. It seems so right now, but that is the result of my Teladon adventures. When I stuck to the more appropriate mobs, I actually had decent returns with it. So I will try to stick to such mobs from now on and see how those numbers develop. My results will be a bit skewed for a while now, but that one giant loss will eventually be drowned out by normal hunts. It will take tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of ped cycled through the gun to get a clear picture of its performance. Dorki just has to stop himself from doing unhealthy crap, like loading his mina full of damage enhancers and going to town on some teladons. My current plan is to stay on Rocktropia and grind out some pesky Rocktropian crabs, perhaps do some AFK crafting overnight, or a bit of unamped mining. Of course, no plan ever survives the first contact with the enemy. So I might end up going mental and doing stuff I should not be doing. Or I might actually stick to it for a while, like I did for most of the summer this year. Either way, my advice for anyone out there without poop loads of disposable income would be to stick to stuff that is sustainable for you, even if it is somewhat boring and you do not get many globals. Those random big hunts on exciting mobs that can sometimes global and HoF a lot are fun, but they are not sustainable without a huge budget and high-end equipment. Those hunts or mining runs with big amps or crafts on some expensive blueprint should be kind of like a nice vacation in real life. You do not do it all the time, you only do it once in a while when you can afford it. Which was the mindset with which I went into those teladons. I expected a bad run, although I was really hoping for a good one, since I had a crappy mining run and a craft before that. But I was willing to risk it, and a bad run would not hinder my ability to go back to my lower level sustainable gameplay afterwards. And those are exactly the sort of activities I will try to stick to for a while now. So it is small mobs, cheap crafts, cheap mining, and perhaps a bit of sweating when I feel like it. But of course, I will not be sweating for money as much as to raise my sweat gatherer skill a bit once again. I do have an unhealthy fascination with that skill, and I really like watching it grow. The most likely reason behind it is that LOL factor when some normal person sees my sweat gatherer level and is dumbfounded that someone would spend that much time sweating. I sometimes experience that exact thought process when I see someone who is 10 or 20 sweat gatherer levels higher than me. And I must say that I usually have a good laugh, whether it is at someone else shocked by my level, or me being entertained by the fact that there are actually people out there with far higher sweat gatherer levels than me. Anyway, I probably rambled on about stuff long enough at this point to start boring you all poopless. So I will go over the deed and share payouts for the week and my thoughts about those payouts. I do not remember whether I started with deeds or shares last week. I guess there is no harm in going over the Arcadian deeds first in today's episode. Arcadia Moon deeds paid out twice this week, both times the payment was 1 peg per deed. I am sure that nobody will be surprised that AMDs still have not sold out in the webshop. And there has been no new information about them on Arcadia forums since July, so it is anyone's guess whether there are still 9,999 deeds unsold, or whether they are actually very close to being sold out. Whatever the case though, Arcadia Underground deeds did well in terms of payouts this week. They paid out 6 times over the last 7 days. 3 of the payouts gave 1 peg per deed, once they paid 2 peg per deed, and twice they gave 3 peg per deed for combined total of 11 peg per deed for the week. If I remember correctly, the total amount paid out over the week was about the same in the last week's episode. When it comes to shares, Crystal Palace shares paid out 2 peg per share today, and the cheapest stack of them was selling at 19 peg and 40 peg this morning when I recorded the deed and share footage for this episode. What surprised me a lot though was that Ancient Greece shares paid out their 1 peg once again. This has been the 3rd week in a row that they paid out. I still would not advise anyone to dump all their peg into Ancient Greece shares since there is no guarantee they will keep on paying, but they might actually have a chance at selling out at some point in the distant future, especially if they can keep these up long term. I would not hold my breath though. It is far more likely that this is just a few big hunters grinding for the Gorgon armor and that the payments will dry up as soon as there is some notable event going on somewhere else. There were still nearly 652k Ancient Greece shares available for sale this morning. You can see the exact number on your screen right now if you are interested in it. To conclude, this week was alright despite the fact it ended up in a loss for me. The skill gains from crafting were nice, and if that one valuable blueprint I looted actually sells, I would have made a small profit doing it. If it does not sell, then well poop. Mining was a small profit overall and hunting was about break even until my brain came up with the idea to hunt Teladons. Though the actual poopy event took place IRL when that evil pipe started leaking. But I guess I should be grateful that it only started leaking rather than gushing water everywhere. Hopefully the repairs do not end up being too costly or take too long to finish. That is if the plumber actually turns up to do the job in the first place, since the situation seems to be fairly complicated these days with the rapidly spreading tiny Trojan horses infiltrating people everywhere. By the way, how was your loot this week? How are you doing overall? Are you looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077? Let me know in the comments below, and sorry if that last question seemed too random. I can assure you that it did actually just randomly pop up in my mind. Probably because I am looking forward to that game. I really want to make that character with weird mix of mismatching private parts. Maybe I will name him Dicosaurus Dorks. And maybe not, who knows. Either way, thank you for watching and I wish you a pleasant remainder of the day. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Thank you.